So this is going to be the last topic in today's class. We used to call it as an URL. Okay. So URL which stands for Uniform Resource Locator. And then here normally we have a question. So what is there in URL? URL in the sense you will have some. Normally we used to think that you will have some unique pattern of addresses. So using those addresses, generally we are going to access some resources. It may be of any resources that we are going to access. Generally, normally we used to think like that, but in URL we have many more technical things that we have to concentrate on. So basically, so using browser, we are going to search for something, and then so in browser we have an address part. So in address part we are going to type something, and then using that particular address we are going to search something. Okay, suppose if you are going to miss any one of the character in that particular URL, surely we won't be able to access that particular resources properly. Okay, so URL, which is going to be a very very important thing. So suppose if there is going to be any capital letter, you have to use capital letters. If there is going to be any small case letters, you have to use small case letters. If there is going to be any number, surely you have to use those numbers properly. If there is going to be any symbols, you have to use those symbols properly. So these are some of the important things that normally we used to focus on typing the addresses and then accessing that particular system. Okay, so here in URL, so browser, normally we used to use browser as a client program, and then using this browser, we used to type the URL, and then we used to get connect with some corresponding web browsers, web server, and then we used to access some information. And then here we have a question as how browser know to which server to contact and what information are service to request. So this is going to be an important question regarding this particular topic, uniform resource locator. So always this is going to be in question. So how browser used to know, so which server it have to contact, or what is information will be over there, and how to access those information. So how to request to that particular service. So this is going to be the question. So the answer for this particular question is the URL. The answer is going to be URL. So uniform resource locator. So using this uniform resource locator, anyone those who want to access information would be able to access information from any location or from any area or any place, anywhere they may be. But using this particular URL, they would be able to connected with that particular system or that particular server, and they would be able to access that particular informations. So URL, which provide a standard way to specify exact location and name of any internet resource. So you have two important things here. So it used to provide, URL used to provide the exact location where the information is present, and then the name of the resources. So what is the resources that you are going to access? So these are the two important things that the URL used to provide. And basically we have some two formats, the important formats. The first one is the scheme, and then you have a colon symbol, and then you have two slashes, and then host name, one more slashes, and description. And the next one scheme, and then two slashes and description. So these are the two common formats of URL. So the scheme which used to denote, so or which used to helpful to identify what type of resources that we are going to access. The scheme means nothing but the type of resources. So to identify the type of resources, we are going to use the scheme. So you have some various types of schemes here, like HTTP, and then FTP, and then Gopher, Mail to, News, Telnet. So these are the most common schemes that normally we use to access. The resource may be related to hypertext transfer protocol, or it may be related to file transfer protocol, or it may be related to Gopher system, or it may be related to electronic mails, or it may be related to your Usenet servers, that's about news, or it may be related to telnet system. Okay, so these are the common resources that we have. So scheme that which refers to any one of these schemes, and then you have two more, and then next to the scheme you have two more slashes to separate your scheme and the host name. And then host name in the sense whatever the computer resources that you're going to access. So the computer resources will be specified in this host name. Okay, and then in the description part you will have the file name or the path name, whatever that you're going to access. Similarly, you have the second format as scheme and description. So you have two examples for this. The first one is going to be this one, http www.allen.com/allen, and next one news, rec for record, and then humor. So this is going to be second format. And then URL, you have some three important parts in URL. So the three important parts are the first one, which is going to be about scheme, and second one, which is going to be about host name, and third one, which is going to be about path name. So scheme is for identifying resources, and host name is for identifying computer, and the path name to exactly locate where exactly to locate the file as where it is located. So these are the three important parts of URL. And then here, along with the URL, at the last you will have the port number. So sometimes you will have port number and sometimes you won't have this port number. So port number which is for to request for a particular type of service. Okay, for example for telnet you have the port number which is going to be 23, and then for http you have the port number 80, and for gopher system you have port number 70. Normally to access a particular resources we won't mention the port number. By default you have some port numbers for each and every types of resources, but sometimes for the same resources you may have some other port numbers. So at those situations surely you have to mention the port number. For example, um, see here in this example, the first example, see here you have telnet locis.loc.gov 23, which mean that here the port number for telnet is 23. So we are mentioning it and then we are accessing it, but by default the port number for telnet is 23. So instead of using the second option, normally we would go for the first option, the first statement, the first example that you have. So this is going to be the normal way of accessing. Okay, and then see here this one, the one more example, telnet nightmare internet.com a colon and then 1701. This is going to be in port number. So basically the port number for telnet is 23. So instead of using 23 here we have mentioned the exact port number whatever that we have to use. So sometimes instead of using default port number, exactly suppose we have to specify some resources, that we have to surely we have to mention this port number. Okay, so that's the thing. So request for a particular type of service which use the port number, and specifying a port number when that does not use the standard one, surely we have to mention the port number over there. And then you people about path names in the sense you people know. So normally, so here in this example, you will have the scheme http, and then you have the host name, and then you have the path name. So next to the host name, whatever the thing that we have, those components we used to call as in path names. So path name in the sense which used to have the directory, subdirectory, the file name or home directory. So all those things you will have over those path name. So path name which used to locate exactly to locate the file, to access the file we used to use the path name. And then the next thing, the final one, the tilde symbol. Normally to access the home directory, in some path names you will have this tilde symbol. So from the tilde symbol we would be able to know that particular thing which is in home directory. Okay, so after each and every scheme you will have two slashes, and to separate some various components in the host name and path name we used to use what, slashes, a single slash. So so these are the various things that is related to URL and then host names. So the keywords that you have to concentrate over here is uniform resource locator, and then two common formats in URL, and then various schemes that we